If the speaker says 24 hours, the member make them available to the clerk before. Okay? If the member deliver to the clerk 24 hours before, it's not the member's fault. So we can't say the speaker didn't have the time to look at them.
Greetings once again, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is the Real Talk Reactions to Abai. If it is for the first time you're checking me out, kindly subscribe, like and share to my YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, I do say thank you very much for the love and support you are always giving on to me. To Abai today, guys, I want you to check this video whereby Warmington, as we know, he is a member of parliament in Jamaica. On this case, he ended up defending the principles of the parliament in a way that he was like defending the PNP party. As we know, he is from the JLP party. On this case, whereby the PNP party, they have been submitting some of the questions onto the speaker, and the speaker later on comes around and says that she hasn't reviewed the question, mainly because she has received them in late time. So I want you guys to watch this full video to the end, and I'll be back with a few comments.
Question and answers to questions.
Mr. Speaker, I'm seeking clarification again, because an attempt was made yesterday by a member to inquire or to submit questions to the Speaker for approval for tabling today. And it was followed by, again, a document circulated to the member which confused the process. And I'm really hoping that we can clarify this finally. And also to be able to get a clear timeline as to when, what time during Monday, the questions must be submitted for them to be properly vetted for tabling today. Because I think it's unfair that the member, having submitted the questions for vetting yesterday, the approval has not come as yet. So I'm urging that a definitive statement be made as to what time on the Monday is a cutoff time for the tabling of questions, so that we don't have a confused state of affairs going forward.
I think on this matter, the Speaker has issued clear directions in relation to the questions to be submitted. I think my recollection is within at least 24 hours before one intends to table them. But this is a process. Once the questions are tabled, then the questions, in accordance with the standing order, have to be vetted, looked at, examined by the Speaker to ensure that they are in accordance with said standing orders. We would have gone through this process already. This letter, my understanding, with the questions would have come in yesterday, and the Speaker at the time has not gotten the chance as yet to look at it, and as such the questions are not now here with us. As we can all appreciate, the Speaker is not in the House at this time, and as such, as such, based on the time when the questions arrived, and the Speaker not being able to peruse the questions at that time, the questions are not yet before us. I am very certain that as soon as the Speaker can peruse the questions, once the questions are in keeping with the standing orders, then the questions will be so tabled at the next appropriate time.
Oh, it's my time. I think I was up before you.
Let him go first.
Yes.
The member was before you.
Mr. Speaker, the standing order says the questions are delivered before the sitting of the House. The decision was that at least 24 hours before. If a member submit He's our question 24 hours before. It's no business of the member whether the speaker look at it or not. It's supposed to be with it before the sitting. It can be 10 minutes before. It can be 10 minutes before. Okay? So why the hell did you ask for the 24 before? It's not the speaker member's fault. Our business whether or not the speaker look at it. It's our obligation to review it before. So don't tell the member this time. Don't tell the member. Don't tell the member the speaker didn't get a chance to look at it. That's not unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. And we should bring the house to that level to come with this nonsense about they get a chance to read it. Nonsense.
Before you, House Leader, let me just read from the standing order. Based on my information, sorry, turn the mic on. Based on my information, the questions were submitted at 3:41 p.m. yesterday. That is my information. Members, before you all speak, I will be reading from the standing order as it relates to questions. Section 14, nature of question, subsection 2. Notice of a question may be handed by a member to the clerk during the period known as question time. Every such notice shall be signed by the member giving it. A member who desires an oral answer to a question shall mark his notice with an asterisk, and a question not so marked shall require a written answer, which, when received, shall be circulated with the minutes of the proceedings of the House. Subject to paragraph 5, a question mark for oral answer shall be put down for a day to be named by the member, being a day not earlier than 21 clear days after the question has appeared on the question paper. I am reading from the book, that's all.
Mr. Speaker, in adopting the position advanced earlier by the member from Southwest St. Catherine, I'd just like to say, Mr. Speaker, that anything can happen to the sitting speaker, and if we can advance now by urging the deputy speaker to also be in a position to vet these questions and to signal approval. So it need not have to wait on the substantive speaker to address these routine matters. And the section that you have read already, Mr. Speaker, it really is not relevant to the issue at hand.
So, Mr. Speaker, I would have just gotten sight of the Speaker's ruling on this matter the last time that it came up. And what I said earlier was not a part of the Speaker's ruling in relation to the 24-hour period. What the Speaker had indicated in her ruling is that the standing orders are to be strictly adhered to. In other words, at question time, the member looking to table questions are to hand up the questions at that time. At that time, the questions, then there will be a vetting of the questions. It does not mean that the questions being handed up at this time, that the speaker who is currently sitting in the House will be able to vet them immediately and to see if they are keeping with the standing orders. And
Having followed the logic of the leader of government business and the ruling by the speaker, what we are doing is concentrating the powers of a gatekeeper into the hands of the speaker. Yes. Because if you submit something and the speaker decides that it's going to take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we can end up in a situation where the tabling of the questions will be delayed until the matter is no longer relevant. Now, where did this 24 hours come from? And why is it that we were referring to 24 hours and then the pushback to say that it was late by half an hour no longer stood? We're hearing now that it is going to be tabled during question time, and at the discretion of the speaker, maybe this year the questions will be deemed appropriate.
Remember, the ruling from the speaker was from last December. So pay attention to that. It was from last December. So it's not just now. It has been here for at least a month or so.
Mr. Speaker, I rise simply for clarity. I was actually in the House one Tuesday afternoon when the Speaker made a big point about making sure that the questions came in time before. Yes, I was sitting here. No one told me. I heard it with my own 2 ears. In fact, the point that you have raised was the point a member sought to make. And he was made to seem as if he was ignorant to the standing orders. In fact, the Speaker did say that he should know better because he had been here before. And so I do not want us to just run across it like that and pretend that the Speaker did not give us different instructions separate to the note that she has written. In fact, if you just allow me, I'm ending now. In fact, the problem has been that in trying to keep order, sometimes the Speaker goes beyond, yes, what she is supposed to. And I think that just a little discretion and treating us as adults to listen to the points that we are making in that conversation could assist.
Always.
Mr. Speaker, you know, I'll start with the last point made by the member. One of the challenges that we've had in this House is probably that point about discretion. What the Speaker has consistently tried to do is to keep us in line with the standing orders. It doesn't have to do with treating anybody like children, but we are a parliament of rules, and the rules are contained in the standing orders. And if as adults we do not like the rules, if as adults we do not like the rules, we do not chastise the person who is keeping the rules. We use the processes to amend the rules. So it is very important that we do not misrepresent the approach of the Speaker. And the beauty with this Speaker, other than indicating her view, is that the Speaker reduces to writing in very clear terms her position and rulings on matters. And what she does is to consult and then to issue a ruling. So on the 2nd day of December 2025, under Speaker's ruling on the House of Parliament documentation, the Speaker has a very clear ruling. So I ask all the members to familiarize themselves with the ruling. Secondly, to the member from St. Catherine, the standing orders does make the Speaker the gatekeeper. It is very clear. Standing Order 16 says, the 16.1 says, the right to ask a question shall be subject to the following general rules, as to the interpretation of which the Speaker shall be the sole judge. There's only one Speaker, and the Speaker has to be that judge. So again, to be clear, and I apologize to the House earlier in relation to not first consulting with the Speaker's very clear ruling. To be clear, when the House reaches the agenda item, question time, the member who is desirous of asking questions are to submit their questions to the clerk. The clerk will work with the Speaker in relation to the review of those questions. I appreciate the questions about time frame. It's one of the issues that the standing order is silent on. However, I am very sure, especially whether it be the Deputy Speaker or the Speaker, that it will be done in reasonable time. Reasonable is a construct of law. Reasonable time. Reasonable has to be depending on the questions, whether, remember,
hold on, Faith. Hold on, Faith. Mr. Speaker, Faith. Hold on.
Member from St. Catherine, so sit.
I am not.
Turn his mic on.
I was put off my understanding all that. And turned off the mic. You don't even know what I was going to say. This house is not the Speaker's house. It's the member's house.
I will say this. When I asked a member to sit a while ago, I asked a member from St. Catherine Southern to sit because his mic from I was asking a member whose mic was on to sit so I could address you. But you continue to shout across the floor. I am saying to you, your mic was on, and before you could even start to make your presentation, you were cross talking with another member. You did. I am going to ask you, member. I am going to ask you to sit now. I am going to ask you to sit. Member from St. Catherine Southwestern. I am ruling on this. I am asking the member from St. Catherine Southwestern. Your mic is lighted up and I'm going to turn it on now. You are the person who have the floor.
No, Mr. Speaker. No.
Hold on.
Mr. Speaker, my mic is
Mr.
on now and I will speak.
Sit.
My mic is on now.
Member, the only reason you're behaving in that manner now, I simply gave you the floor. All you did was I'm giving the person next to speak, and he is going to speak. Member from St. Catherine South. Member from St. Catherine South. Oh, I'm attack.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, all I wish to say at the outset, one, rulings from the chair, from the Speaker's chair, have been most controversial in recent times. This Parliament have seen speakers from both sides. It has never happened before. We have never had these levels of controversies about the Speaker's ruling. They have been easily adhered to by either side. We have walked that road before. The Privileges Committee in the Parliament sets out a way to arrive at a consensus around how the House's business are conducted. It is not for the Speaker to unilaterally, arbitrarily set rules on the running of the House. And there's a reason for that, Mr. Speaker. The Parliament will change from time to time. And whichever side is in government is expected to abide by the commonly agreed rules. And it's for that reason why the rules in the House ought to be arrived at through consensus on both sides. Not by the opposition by itself, and neither by the government. It's a parliament of members. And all we're asking for, the rules that will obtain as it regards to questions or any other matters, private members' motion, how they are dealt with procedurally, they be settled there. The ruling of the Speaker as an umpire is to ensure that the decision of the moment when the House is in session is in keeping with those agreed provisions. Now, Mays, that is not a standing order, is recognized because it says both sides must agree. So even if the standing order is not explicit on a particular point, there is nonetheless an agreed way in which those matters are dealt with. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully and humbly submit. Yes. If we continue with that convention, which has not been controversial before, we won't have much of the problems that we're having in the House. And for heaven's sake, we don't want posterity to judge the tenure of this House in a very unfavorable way. So I make a plea. Let us just revert to an orderly, balanced way of how the House business is conducted. I have, lastly, before I take my seat, I have in the past Parliament prepared questions, submitted them before time, and it's 1.5 months before they're able to end up reaching here. I've been on the receiving end myself, which has not been in keeping with the conventions of the Parliament. So I make my plea, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the House Leader make reference to ruling by the Speaker. You read section of the standing order. But may I draw the House's attention to the fact that the Speaker's ruling cannot be in conflict with the standing orders. And if such rulings are in conflict with the standing order supersedes any ruling from any Speaker.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you have watched this entire video to the end and you have got the information and the details on to why Everald Warmington had to defend some of the policies onto the parliament, and even seemingly defending the PNP party, as we know they have been oppressed mostly on to the parliament when it comes to answering of their questions, or rather proposing on to their debate. In a way, I want to give you a hint on whom Everald Warmington is. So, by the full name, Clifford Everald Errol Warmington, CD, is a Jamaican politician with the Jamaica Labour Party. That's the JLP party, as I told you earlier on. He has represented the St. Catherine South Western constituency in the Parliament of Jamaica since 2002. So this man, on to these videos we have seen onto the Parliament, he decided to defend principles. And by defending principles, he went on and saw that the PNP party side, they're being oppressed onto the government. Yeah, or rather in the Parliament mostly. So he went on and he decided to be a great man onto the Parliament. Despite of him being a JLP party member, he decided to go by the principles. Yeah, like this time we need to put the ego down. We need to put our differences between the parties, and now like look on what we can do so as we can protect each other. As we have had a lot of cases in the Parliament whereby the PNP parties have been issuing out even questions onto the Speaker of the Parliament, that's Juliette Holness, the wife to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness. And she came around and said that she did not receive the questions early, and so she did not end up reviewing the questions so as she could have answered into the Parliament, and that brought a lot of controversy. We have seen other cases in whereby the PNP party members in the Parliament have been switched off, or rather their mics have been switched off, so as they cannot continue opposing or proposing any matter into the Parliament. So this is something that Everald Warmington decided to bring it out as a principle into the Parliament, and kept aside their differences between the parties. And so he went on and said, if the questions have been issued before 24 hours, then I think it's right for them, for their question to be answered on to the Parliament. Yeah, and that is what they have been doing. The PNP party members have been doing, issuing out their question early. But something that brought controversial is when the Speaker of the Parliament, Juliette Holness, went on forward and said that she did not receive the question early and that she did not review the question. So she cannot answer the questions without reviewing them. Yeah, and the claim is that she did not receive it in time. And so this is what Everald Warmington was trying to defend as a principle into the Parliament. Like, we need to put our differences aside. We are not going to sit around and see, even though they are from the different party, the opposition party, we can't see them being oppressed and we just quiet, mainly because there will come a time whereby they might even end up having the government, and we are going to be on the opposition side. We are going to be treated the same way, and it's going to be bad for us. You know, you understand? So this is what Everald Warmington was trying to do and to imply on to this video. So guys, I want to know whatever you think about this amazing video. Let's come around and share our thoughts throughout the comment section so we can get to interact, mainly because this is the Real Talk channel, and in here we do speak everything that is real. So let's engage into the comment section so we can get to know what each and every one of you thinks about this video and what happened onto the Jamaican Parliament. Thank you very much, guys, for following up the video with me. I was your host, Real Talk Reactions. Whereby, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe, like, and share to my YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, I do say Thank you very much for the love and support you are always giving unto me. Always remember, guys, to link me up through my next videos. All I do wanna say is peace out there.